Hey guys, it's me, Vinny, and I've missed you. I've missed you guys so much, and I've missed doing videos. It's been a while for me, maybe not for you guys seeing it, but it's been almost 2 weeks since I made a video. And that is because there's been a lot of things happening in my life right now. A lot of things. And ever since I got out of the inpatient program, it's been like boom, 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 boom. Every single day, I'm doing like 5 things at a time. So, today's video is going to be kind of an update, but also on a specific topic. And that topic is apartment hunting. Specifically, apartment hunting when you're poor and on Section 8. So, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of background history, just in case you don't know what Section 8 is. So, Section 8 is a state-funded program. It's a housing voucher. And basically what it does is it helps poor people, low-income individuals, families as well, find housing with the help of a voucher. So what the voucher does is, depending upon how much income you make, you will be paying for 30% of your income. So basically what happens is the housing authority, which is where you get a housing voucher from, the housing authority, they tell you you have to pay this amount. This amount, like I said, is going to vary from person to person. And then what the housing authority does is they pay for the rest of the rent. So let's say you're trying to find a place and it's, for example, $900. Your portion might be $500, while the rest, the $400, will be paid by the housing authority. So that's kind of how this, this program works. So I'm on Section 8 because I'm disabled, so I do have a disabled voucher, and because I have no income. Here's the thing. When I decided to start this program, I had high hopes. I'm like, this is absolutely wonderful. I'm glad that they have programs like this for people like me who want to go out there and live their life and progress in, their dreams and their goals and get a nice apartment for themselves, a space where they can feel safe, where it's not a toxic environment, and you can really grow, like, emotionally and mentally. So I had high hopes, but for the past 3 months, I've learned that things don't work out the way they promise. So when you get into this program, they basically say all you have to do is look for apartment listings. So, I do them all. Seriously, I scoured them all. Rent.com, Trulia, Zillow, Rentigs, Hotpads, Apartment Finder. Yeah, and Craigslist, of course. Like 3 different cities of Craigslist. So I'm out there looking for apartments. And one thing that I have to note is I really wish that landlords would be upfront and say that they don't accept Section 8 vouchers, because this would save people like me a lot of grief. So what you do is you find a landlord, you call their number, and you set up to see the apartment. After you check out the apartment, what you have to do is ask the landlord if they accept Section 8 vouchers, and they have to fill out this paperwork. And basically what the paperwork is the landlord essentially writes down all the details of the apartment, what the tenant will be responsible for. So things like whether they'd be responsible for electric, heat, hot water, stuff like that, garbage removal, the sewer. And it just breaks down everything for the housing authority to see so that they know that you're giving them a fair deal. So then you bring this paper back to the housing authority, and the housing authority, basically, they judge whether or not they think that you're going to be able to afford this place. So after that, the next step is that they go and they inspect the apartment to see if it's up to standards. They have very specific guidelines, like windows need to be a certain height, electrical sockets need to be placed in a certain way, things need to be updated, windows have to shut, just very specific requirements to make sure that your living environment is a safe one. So then after that, theoretically, if it checks out, you will be able to sign your lease, and there you go. So, that sounds great and everything, but this is not how it works. This is not how it works for when you're poor. And also for when you're poor and you're black. Alright, so let me tell you. So because I have Section 8, it isn't really indicative that I have good credit, but one would assume someone who is poor, who has low income, doesn't have a job, and is disabled, might not have good credit. I don't have good credit. I don't. My credit rating, I won't tell you the number, but it's in the very poor section. Now, here's the thing. There are some landlords that will accept Section 8, but want you to have superb credit. They want you to have the most excellent, spotless credit history in the world. And let me tell you that when they're looking for a certain credit score, they don't actually care what got you there. They don't. They just look at this arbitrary number and say, you're not worthy to rent out to. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Credit score was created by the banks to basically judge whether or not they should lend to you. So that includes a personal loan, that includes a credit card, and sometimes that even includes other loans such as auto loans, house loans, etc. So it's basically to see whether someone would be able to give you, borrowed money, essentially, and if you'd be able to pay it back. That's what a credit score is really supposed to be. Now, for whatever reason, landlords decided that they're going to use credit scores to basically weed out the unworthy individuals. But the thing is that someone's number doesn't tell you what's on their credit score. It doesn't tell you why their credit score is low. It doesn't tell you anything about their life, honestly. So here's the thing. There were a couple of rental units that accepted Section 8, and that was amazing, and they looked great, and there was one bedroom, and that's wonderful. But I had to have a credit score of at least 650, and I didn't. And you know why? Because of student loans. Literally, that's all that's on my credit report. No credit cards, just student loans. So because I went to school, and because I have student loan debt, I'm not worthy to have a house, to have an apartment, so to speak. I'm not worthy because I have student loans. So let me just tell you how messed up that is. Because without even seeing whether or not you'd be a good tenant, even if you're living in an apartment right now and you have a nice credit, a nice history, some good landlord references, something saying that you don't miss out on the rent. It doesn't matter, because all they do is they look at that arbitrary number and say, you don't deserve to rent from me. Sorry. But here's the thing. It creates this kind of a trap where I sit in very nicely right in the middle, trapped, because here I am using this program, Section 8, because I'm poor and I need help. But it doesn't matter because my credit score sucks. They're going to see me and, even though, like I said, you'd think because I'm on Section 8, they would assume that I have bad credit. No, they don't. They're just like, oh yeah, of course you would have immaculate credit. So there's that component. Now let me say, there's another thing about Section 8. And that is that a lot of landlords don't accept it. Now, can you see how that would be a problem? You see, this program is built to help those in need, to help those that are impoverished, to help those that the system has basically failed. And yet, most landlords don't accept Section 8. Now, I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why most landlords don't accept Section 8. The first reason is because they find the guidelines for the housing authorities to be too strict. That means maybe they got their house inspected and basically they're like, well, I don't have enough money to replace this window, or I don't have enough money to fix this, whatever. So they fail an inspection. And some landlords feel that these guidelines are too stringent, that they are very unreasonable, etc. Now, they're allowed to have an opinion. That's fine if they think that it's too strict and that they have to go through hoops to be approved, whatever. But let's not play around, guys. Let's not play around. The real reason landlords shy away from participating in the Section 8 program is because it keeps out Black people. That's it. Point blank. I'm just going to tell it to you. It keeps out black people, people of color. Because there's a stigma around Section 8. Maybe you already know it. You see someone who has Section 8 and you're like, they're lazy. They must be a criminal, like a drug addict. Or maybe they're a thief. Maybe they're just really loud and violent and destructive. Maybe they're just really, horrible to their kids. Maybe they're this and that. But that's the kind of image that you see being portrayed for people who have Section 8. That they're just riffraff. That they're less than dirt. That they're subhuman. And guess who a lot of the people are on Section 8? Black people and people of color. Yeah. So it's a nice little handy way for landlords to say, I don't want black people in my apartment. I don't want those noisy black people, those horrible black people in my apartment because they're not trustworthy. I can't even believe this is even allowed. I can't even believe that it's allowed to indirectly discriminate against people of color. So here I am, disabled, poor, and I have bad credit. And essentially, I can't get an apartment. And what really, really F's me up the most is the fact that these are the same people, like the landlords, their demographic, upper middle class, white. These are the same people that'll go out and stay there and have their conversation be like, oh, look at this country. We need to be taking care of our homeless, of our poor and our sick. How come we're not doing more for that? How come we're not doing everything that we can and here we are worrying about other countries out there, but when we can be worrying about our homeless? These are the same people who say stuff like that. And yet, these are the same people who look at someone who's poor like me, who look at someone who's Section 8 and like, that's scum. They're trashy. They're ghetto. They're ratchet. These are the same people who do stuff like that. And it's like, I am not a conversation prop. I'm not some card that you pull out whenever you want to look like this worldly person, this so progressive, so, inclusive individual. I'm not a card, because when I actually go out there and ask you for help, I'm like, hey, look, this is your opportunity to help someone who's poor, to help someone who's struggling. You know what you say? You laugh at me, and you're like, oh, you're one of those people. Oh, you're one of those. So I'm so freaking mad, you guys, because every single day for this week alone, I've seen 20 apartments. 20 in a span of like 5 days. 20 apartments. And I'm so worn out, I do like about 3 apartments a day. And I'm going all over the place just to get denied, just to say, like, I got this one guy. I couldn't believe he said this to me. He said, when I asked him, hey, I just wanted to know if you accept Section 8. You know what he said? Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I don't deal with those type of people. I don't deal with people like you. And it just crushed me. Do you know how horrible it is to hear something like that straight to your face? Do you know how horrible it is to be rejected multiple times every single day? It's like getting riddled. It's just like getting bashed over and over again and not having the wounds heal up. It's just getting beaten. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of going out there thinking, all I ever wanted was to live in an apartment so I can get away from my toxic environment. All I ever wanted was to go to an apartment to call my own, to feel safe for once in my life. And I can't even do that. I can't do that because even though I qualify for a program that's supposed to help, that is supposed to help people like me, I still can't get help. Do you see how this happens? Do you see how this works? And let me just tell you, some of these landlords are so freaking intrusive. Yesterday I called someone. You know what he said? He asked me if I had a job. I said I don't. And he said, why? I said, I'm disabled. He said, what's your disability? Wow, that's the first time I ever heard someone question my disability. I said, I have a mental disability. He's like, oh really? Do you take medication? Seriously? Like, Like, I won't even get into how horrible that is, but he actually asked me, as if taking medication, validates my mental disability. Because, if I didn't take medication, that must mean I'm not disabled. So I was like cringing inside. I'm like, yeah, I do take medication. He's like, oh, okay, we'll see then. And I'm like, these people are garbage. They really don't care. And I'm just tired, you guys. I'm tired. I'm tired of being told and being trapped in the cycle where it's like, someone's like, hey, do this and you'll get help. And then when you do that, you don't. But the funniest thing of all is if I didn't go on Section 8, people would be like, you're not trying hard enough. Maybe you should apply for Section 8. Maybe you should do something with yourself. Maybe instead of sitting around at home making videos, you should do something for yourself. And then when I do it, they're like, Section 8? Oh, trash. So yeah, that's what's going on the past, since I came out of my inpatient. It's been a lot of BS, and I just wanted to tell you guys, vent a little bit, of course, but just to tell you guys what it's really like, what it's truly like to be on Section 8, to be poor, and to be searching for housing. It's like trying to find that needle in the haystack. It's like trying to find the holy trinity of landlords. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys, I'm so glad to be back and to be doing videos. And I'm really excited because I do have a list of videos already written down that I want to start doing. So, just want to give you guys a little update, little input of what's happening. And I hope to see you guys so soon. And thank you again for watching my channel. Really appreciate you guys. And hope you have a good day. Bye!